Our next segment, again, we don't want to do a total overload on VMI, but there is a lot going on. And so this past weekend, the reason why we did not do our live stream last week is we had to get to Lexington again.
Mm-hmm. And this isn't necessarily just VMI centric. It happens to be where we were, but this is about tailgating. We had never tailgated before, either one of us, in college or since then or whatever. So it is apparently a very big deal.
Very popular.
At VMI. And buddy, they take it seriously.
Yeah.
And it was worth the effort. So for instance, this is the first tailgating that they've had in over a year. There was no tailgating last year.
Yep.
This is also there was also a reunion this weekend. So in order to ensure
two classes had their reunion last weekend.
In order to ensure a spot on the main field, and they park on their grass. They have this big grass field that they parade around in. And so in order to get one of the front row spots on the grass so that you're right there where the parade is, I lined up at 3:30 in the morning, and I wasn't the first one in line.
The thing that's funny is that, there was a chat, like a Facebook chat, I think, that you got involved in, where people who had done this before, who had
saying,
cadets,
get in line around 5:30, and maybe a little earlier this time because of whatever, and then it just kept getting earlier and earlier. And earlier, until finally, those of us who were like, I am so into this, I am doing this, I don't care how stupid early I'm getting up, we were there at 3:30. And the person who was very first in line, get this, 1:30 in the morning.
Not for me. And even the 3:30, not for me. My son and I stayed in a hotel room. Tamara was eager beaver, wanted to go out and do this, have the experience. Mm-hmm. I like the experience of restful sleep.
I would do it again
but
in a heartbeat.
We did get up in the morning, got her a latte, and walk. And, Lexington's not very big, so we just walked from the hotel over to the campus in the morning. But needless to say, I was not doing the early start.
I would do it again in a heartbeat. And frankly, I probably would do the 1:30 because if you're going to get up and get parked, why not get there earlier? Because as soon as you're parked, you go to sleep. And then you have like a nice little block of sleep. I think the 1:30 makes a whole lot more sense.
Well, one thing that is an incentive, though, also of getting started and being there early is that you can line up along the edge of the parade grounds. So you can kind of have a front row seat. You're permitted to put up a tent. You can park. You can cook. You can, host, what have you.
All the rats come out and you start feeding rats. Why don't we put some
pictures we'll get into it, and then we'll follow up with some additional observations. Because what I will say, and I'll just tease this, meeting people was actually very fun because everybody's really excited to be there, and there was a lot of fun exchange. But this is Tamara's little adventure with going ahead and getting started first thing in the morning.
I didn't make a video out of this, so these are kind of still images and whatnot.
No, there's video in here.
Oh, there's some of the videos? Well, they're not like the fancy videos. They're just here's my camera, and go.
If there's shrieking or hollering with excitement, I did my best to try to mitigate some of it, but there might be some commentary. This is a little more of what we'd call a rough cut.
Yeah. Gosh.
So let's see what we got here.
It is 3:30 on the nose, and this is what Lexington looks like first thing in the morning. Adorable, quiet, and sleepy. I have a car packed with grills, food, flags, etc. And I'm on my way to get in line to tailgate. So, bye. So that's the road up to the field. And it's currently, I don't know what time it is. It's probably getting close to 4. There's all the cars. Okay, so that's me just walking and walking. And good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you all?
Bye. These other folks are queued up, hanging out,
sleeping. I got out and talked to a bunch of mothers. Had a great time, and fathers. Although, honestly, there were more women in line than men.
Was it? Just like this?
Yeah. Although, person number 1 was a guy, was a father.
Okay.
So, yeah, this is just me walking back to my car. I was car 18 at 3:30 in the morning. By the time it finally... You're probably going to show some of the other ones where they start lining up in the second row, too?
Yeah, I've never watched these videos.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of have them there for us to review, but
yeah,
we're reliant on your recollection.
Yeah. So this is it. A lot of these people are already sleeping. They didn't come around to the car to start collecting the parking fee until I think about 6:30, and by that time, I think in one of these pictures you'll see, they actually brought cars up into the second lane, the outgoing lane. They just went ahead and blocked it off because the cars had gotten all the way down and were headed towards the highway and couldn't block the highway. So where that happened, they then just moved the next rows up to the left-hand lane or the outgoing lane. And then, of course, when they let them in, they let our lane in first and whatnot.
And just if you've never been to VMI, this wall here is a big retaining wall that allows them to put athletic fields up on a level area. So the rugby pitch is up there. And probably, I think what other sports are up there? Is the baseball up there?
I don't know.
Baseball's down below.
It seems like, isn't that where they have all the
or maybe a practice field? They have,
stuff?
Other kind of military-orientated obstacle course equipment. So you have a broad range of things, but it's this big sheer wall so that they could create some level land. Because, Lexington's kind of a hilly community. But the next one here now, it would kind of go to sunlight. You can see that other cars have now started to line up beside Tamara here.
Yeah. So that's what it is. And you can see. Oh, there's not much to see. You can just go slide that one next.
No.
No.
Oh, you're just videoing?
I think so. I mean, because usually when I take these clips, I'm going to make them into a segment. So I just take them for purposes of that. So
here's the morning.
Yes.
Or actually, did that? No, I think. Let me see.
Yeah, no, that's the morning.
No, but I think you actually start driving up in this video.
Oh, do I?
Yeah, because I think that's part of what it is that you actually do head up,
okay,
and you can kind of see the drive as everybody's trying to get up onto the field. Mm-hmm. So we can
watch for a little
watch it because it's interesting. It's beautiful campus, and once everybody starts moving. So this is now moving up, and everybody's making their way onto the actual parade field first thing in the morning here. And how many people would you say end up kind of being there? 1,000 just for the tailgating?
I would think so, because there were tailgating canopies and tents and all that set up on 2 sides, and then there were bleachers on a 3rd side, and then the 4th side are the barracks. So that's the 4 sides of it.
Because some people are spectators who want to see the parade, and we'll actually see some of the parade as the cadets come on. You have various classes coming on with all the rats in tow. So it's one of the features of all of this that's so interesting is, and I described this with our prior discussion on VMI. It's basically hazing that goes on for months, 7-8 months of these kids' career at VMI. So
being broken down to be rebuilt into the form
there's a method to it, but it's definitely interesting, and at all stages in their academic and kind of VMI experience. This is very much a defining period of time. So for us to be here, our daughter actually asked us. She was eager to have us come.
Yeah, we weren't going to come to this first game. We were going to come to Parents' Weekend, which isn't for another little while.
But the notion that she could get a little reprieve and not be in the
somebody's shouting at you, somebody's yelling and
not
telling
be in
you
the
what you're not doing
environment
right,
that she'd been in, because they'd just gone through what they call Hell Week, where they're sleep deprived. They're chased around, yelled at, intentionally put in what they call stress positions.
Physically challenged.
Correct. They're running. They're going through obstacle courses. And that's the first 10 days to where they don't even know what time of day it is. They don't know what the day of the week is. And this is their first little glimmer that there is still civilization.
and people who
and
love
normalcy
them.
And people who
and
love
people
them.
who will cook for them. That was something else. She was so happy to have homemade cooked food.
Yeah, there was one comment that I overheard where another kid was like, wow, your mom got a ton of food. And she's like, everything's over the top with her. It was just kind of like you have no idea. It's not just going to be tailgating in the usual sense. It's going to be Tamara tailgating, where it's, lap of luxury. And kids may not eat as well at the tailgating as, or may not eat at home as well as they do at the tailgating. So just things that are just fun little anecdotes. But I went there with literally no idea what to expect. I'm not... somebody that historically has done tailgating. Kind of my circle and interests in life didn't center me around a lot of collegiate sports. So this was a new experience for me. I will legitimately say, had a blast.
Yeah, it was.
It was totally fun, totally cool. And compared to what my first experience was of checking IO in, which was just brutish work, this was just cool, fun. You could hang out, talk with people, enjoy the experience. She brings
all of her roommates around and all of her company mates around. And that was the one thing I learned. I need more chairs. We had 5 or 6 chairs. I could have had twice that and probably still had some of the cadets standing.
So this is once you actually get set up.
Yeah, so the grassy field is where the marching and the parading is going to be. So you literally are right there where they are. And all the lovely tents are
obviously
up.
Beautiful campus.
And then that's the barracks that you're looking at, or one of the barracks.
Yeah, that's where the barracks are, where all the cadets at all stages of their matriculation there at VMI all reside together in the same building.
This is just the first thing in the morning when they're all setting up. Now, all of those tents were there before all of us. So those are big money donors because they got to be there before the 1:30 a.m. guy.
Yeah, they probably got to set up the day before.
So you donate $10,000, you get an early spot, and you don't have to wait in line for it.
Yeah, and I don't. Well, I'll mention it now, and it'll make more context. But because it was a weekend for the alums to come, I think it was the class of 1970 and the class of 1975. I think it was the class of 1970 made a $13 million donation
can you imagine?
to the school as a sign of their appreciation and their success, in essence, that they're like, yeah, here's what the class of 1970 did. Boom, spike the ball. 13 million, good luck.
And then it was like 13,070,770.70 or something like that. 70's all the way down.
Yeah, but
just in case you weren't sure.
It was just kind of, I don't know, funny, and I don't know what the depth of that tradition is if every class is trying to outdo the other, but I know I'm not writing any big checks to University of Colorado, so I guess there's a lot of pride that goes into this.
Yeah,
we talked about that, folks' commitment. Here's a kind of a picture when we're first, able to hang out with Ido and meet some of the other kids. Tamara, is a part of her whole Facebook group thing, learned all these tricks of the trade.
Oh yeah, they said bring a clothesline cord, and they said bring clips so that the kids can all take their hats off and hang them without having to worry about them touching the ground, getting dirty, etc. I took it one step better. I'm like, it'll come off that clip, and I got those lingerie bags, and they were perfect because apparently they have to keep stuff in that hat. Yeah. They have their rap book, notebooks, they have pens or pencils, they had like all sorts of stuff.
It's like a mobile backpack.
So now that little bag held everything. So I think I may have like sparked a new tradition with that little thing.
So we did a little clothesline, and you could also see the flags there.
Yeah. Each company has its own color, and where that becomes so relevant is they're posting pictures on Flickr and Instagram and all of that of all the companies, and there's 500 kids there. So, and all the guys got their heads shaved. So it's hard to pick your kid out.
Nothing wrong with a shaved head.
It's this weird Where's Waldo game every time there's another photo drop. What they did is they at least color-coded the companies. So if you look on the backpacks or you look on the little, tags or whatever the kids have got on their body, there's a little color. So you can at least say, oh, that's black. That's such and such company. My kid's company is this teal blue.
Yep.
So it made it really easy to immediately know, okay, my child might be in this group of people.
Well, and there's also an incentive for the various rats. They want to know, hey, where can I go to maybe get a free meal here? Because, not every parent's able to
although
come.
Any kid could have come by. I had
Sure,
kids from
any
all of
kid,
them.
but clearly...
That bonding together thing, that was what I think.
So for those kids that didn't have parents, you're inviting them over and wanting to feed them. Here, Tamara did breakfast burritos to get us started in the day. By the time we were in the swing of things here, kind of word had gotten out, and then the other parents started showing up.
Yeah.
So we were there.
If you've got the kids there, the parents come also.
Correct. So, but also some of the parents didn't go to the lengths that we did as far as trying to set everything up.
Yeah, no, that was the idea, is that they would also bring additional foods as the day went on. So it worked out really well.
It kind of got borderline obscene, the amount of food that we were dealing with.
Most of it was eaten.
Most of it was.
Anything that was handmade, homemade, or fresh made was gone.
Yeah, some of the prepackaged stuff, like anything, it doesn't have quite the appeal. But when somebody makes some homemade muffins, when somebody's making some homemade cookies, the breakfast burritos, the burgers Tamara was making,
and at
that
lunch
stuff
we did
was
burgers.
Gone.
Yeah,
Bacon.
So we did a breakfast.
Bacon was highly sought after.
Yeah. So we did the breakfast, and then they had to go, and then they came out and they marched, and then they were able to come back. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, we'll actually show what they do. So here we're kind of getting the kids comfortable, orientated, and then they had to all skedaddle so that they could participate in the big march here. And they're not doing too bad.
They march by companies.
Is that them?
I don't know.
Do you see her?
So each group is a company, except for maybe this first entries. When you see a big block, that's a company, and
this is
students in
band
the
company
back,
actually. No, actually those are probably some of the first years.
I don't see her.
Yeah, see how they're marching in step. You could tell when the
nope, now we're out. Oh, look at that! Oh, it's so funny you don't catch it when they're there.
When the rats were going, it got a little
the rats
dodgy.
were a little rough. I expect they'll get better every practice. They had another parade either last
looking
night
pretty good too. Look at
or
that.
today. There's another one coming up, and then I think there's another one next week. So they practice this on weekends. This is what they do for the weekends. Study. They do all the working out, etc. And then on the weekends they march in a parade.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of rats there. If you see those that are just in the all white, and the ones that are in the gray, that's what they call cadre. Those are their leaders who are guiding them and shaping them through this experience. But I'll jump forward here, but it kind of gives you a sense. So part of the reason to get there early is that you basically have front row seats on this, which is I thought very, very cool.
It was very cool.
This is just on some close-ups here of the bagpipe. I guess they're part of the band company.
They are.
Very cool, very traditional, very fun.
Boy, the amount of clothing they had on, though. I was thinking they got to be dying.
Yeah, it was
they
a
had
toasty
fur
day.
on top of everything.
Yeah, it was a toasty day, and one of the traditions is that they wear nothing under the kilts, like legit, birthday suit under the kilt.
I don't know if that's true. You think
that's
true?
the tradition.
Oh my gosh. Is that tradition here at VMI or just generally?
Yeah.
Whoa. Did not know that.
Yeah. No, they're legit about it. It's kind of like, wearing a bow tie. You want to make sure it's like legit. You tied it.
Yeah.
It's a legit thing. If you're going to wear a kilt, you're out there with it. You're out there with it. But still cool. Now, this is one of the things, and I talked about this a little bit earlier, that I, really, really enjoyed about this was just talking to people. The one gentleman who has the cap there and the hat with the big M on it is actually what Io's former English teacher.
He taught her at
she went to Massanutten.
And he's a VMI grad.
He's a VMI grad.
And he did a great job promoting the school. And so
indoctrinating our child such that VMI was the only school she was going to be going to.
And there were probably 6 or 7 students in her graduating class that did the same. Now they're not all there now.
Yeah, okay. 6, that many.
I think
it was
bunch.
a little less, but regardless. So it was fun because, you're meeting families. A lot of them are Virginians. Not all of them. There are people from literally outside the United States who are coming in to go to VMI. Kids from all over the country, kids, California, Hawaii, like literally the other side of the country who hear about VMI, hear about the tradition associated with it, and just want to be a part of the experience. And it's things like this that I think kind of galvanize people. And make them feel that they're a part of a unique group of people who look out for each other, take care of each other, who want to really see one another excel. That was the one thing that was kind of interesting. You didn't get kind of a vibe of pettiness.
No.
Everybody was very much, hey, we're doing this, we're making it, let's keep going. Yep. Very appreciative, very respectful. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Good kids. It was interesting. Good kids, good families. I never got kind of the kind of vibe where you're just like,
how was that ago?
Yeah, where you're just like, I don't know, not my kind of energy, if you will.
No, they're all
everybody was fine.
They're brother rats.
Well, but even their parents. So I think the parents that are sending their
brothers,
kids.
we're aunts and uncles and cousins and everything else.
But
it's a VMI family.
The whole vibe there was very fun.
Yeah.
Our daughter, she was having a good time with it. She was very happy we were there. This is now what we were there for. We were doing the tailgating.
Yeah.
But we were doing the tailgating in anticipation of the football game. And they played, I think, what was it, Davidson out of Charlotte.
Okay. I don't know where they're from.
Yeah, I think they're out of Charlotte, North Carolina. I think, what's their conference again? Is it Southern
Conference?
Southern Conference.
Yeah, and they were the Southern Conference champs last year.
Yeah, they
First
were 2020.
First time in a long time. They had an excellent year last year.
I will say, and I'll actually hold my comment, but there's some fun anecdotes about VMI and the fact that last year was such a big year for them. But here is when we're first walking to the stadium. This is a fun tradition.
Beginning of every game.
And every touchdown when they go to do a kickoff. These kids are like
any opportunity to fire that cannon.
Yeah,
Woo!
They're all over it. So they're digging their cannon. This is just kind of a bird's eye view from...
Okay, so from the seats. Now, we sat right above the Rats. The Rats have to stand for the whole game unless there's an injury or something like that. Then they can sit down temporarily. So they're standing out in the heat, and it was wicked hot.
It was a hot, hot day.
And did I take one of the videos where
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we'll get to it.
I think I muted it because of the hooping and screaming and yelling. I was like, I don't think our folks are going to enjoy that.
I love football. I used to love watching it. Haven't watched it in a long time, and this is a fun opportunity to watch it again.
So this is the home side. Across the ways, the visitors, and then the VMI campus is back behind it. But we had great seats, and the part that was fun is we were literally right behind all the Rats.
Yeah.
So we could watch them. They were kind of excited because they could be normal in essence and relax and have fun. Yeah, okay, so this is one of the videos. Every time VMI scores, what do the Rats have to do?
The Rats have to run down to the field and do a push-up for every point. So 1 touchdown and an extra point, 7 push-ups. I go back into the thing. Next one, come down, 14 push-ups. Go up, come down, 21 push-ups.
They
extra point, 24 push-ups.
Putting 45 points on the board. It was a big day for VMI. They were dominant. And it was funny because the chaplain, who's a good guy, very good guy, Tamara's built up a rapport with him. The chaplain, and this is just anecdotal, I was there as he looked at a rat and was like, in my day, we didn't do push-ups. And it was basically an acknowledgement that VMI's football team wasn't very good when he was going there. So he's like, you guys are lucky to be doing these push-ups. So, but I will say this, it was also funny because by the time the day wore on and everybody was cooking in that sun, there were kids that were just arms locked and kind of doing the head, not doing the push-ups. They were just like, no, I don't have it in me anymore, because it goes from 7 to 14 to 21 and progressively just became more and more till by the end you're watching the head bob.
Bumping out 45 push-ups after sitting in the sun for 2.5, 3 hours.
But very fun, very cool. And
then again, there's the Where's Waldo, finding our little rat among all those heads. It's a little easier with the hair, but not by much.
Yeah. So if you were trying to find one of the guys in that crowd, forget it, because everybody's got the same bald head look. So either way, but very fun. I'm gonna hop forward here. Kind of gives you a sense. This poor guy who's the mascot, ruthless, because. He's such a trooper. Literally, it is cooking. He's in this mascot suit, and I was worried he'd have heat stroke.
Yeah,
honestly.
And being joyful with the crowd.
He's dancing, doing his moves, and then he'd disappear again.
Yeah.
I think they were basically like, hydrate him, cool him off, get the hat off, and then they'd run him back out. But the guy, I don't think he passed out or died at any point. He made it through the game, but man, brutal. So it was fun though, very fun, great game. VMI just destroyed Davidson. Great, they had a great running game. Great passing.
Oh, yeah.
They were solid. Defense was consistent, picking off balls.
Worth watching this season. Really, really worth it.
Yeah. So, and it's interesting. This season, Virginia in general should have some competitive teams, whether it's, VCU and one basketball or something like that. UVA's doing well. But regardless, there should be some important and fun athletics. But needless to say, it definitely ended up being a hoot all around. Now, after we finished the game, one of the things that we weren't expecting but were permitted to do was let the kids, our cadets or rats, go off campus so that they could go to dinner. And so it was very fun. We literally just piled a bunch of kids into the back of the truck. And anyone who wanted to ride, we went to a fun little Thai restaurant.
We did. We
were able to hang out.
All
parents
sorts of rats
met us
with
there.
us that didn't have parents with them that weekend. And
very fun.
Very cool.
Very fun. So ended up being kind of a surprise as far as I'm concerned, as far as the scope of the experience as a whole, everything that we were able to kind of do together, all of it, in my view, made tailgating kind of a new discovery of fun. But either way, for anybody who's watching, subscribe.
Yes,
tell other
subscribe.
people about what we're doing here. Definitely on Facebook. You can like what we're doing, send messages. You can share it. We're early in this process, so we're still growing, and for me, it's exciting. It's interesting. It's fun to kind of put energy into figuring out fun ways to make this dynamic and fun. To get around the
cat and all that it unplugged.
But if there are things, as I've said before, that you want us to talk about, things that you're interested in, things that you maybe are wanting to explore but maybe haven't made the leap into, let us know. We'll happily dive in and offer whatever commentary and honest assessment of the situation we have. But I think for this evening...
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Show 7!
Appreciate you spending your time with us.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.